class. Today I thought we'd start out with a little quote exercise. I'm going to give you some quotes, and you tell me the famous person who said those quotes. Sounds fun, right? Alright, let's start off with an easy one. Who said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself? Okay, anyone out there? Anybody at all? Nobody. Okay, well, it is pretty early in the year. Let's go a little bit easier. I'll give you a hint on this one. This one was said by a Civil War president. Okay, who said a house divided against itself cannot stand? All right, somebody should really get this one. Most famous Civil War president.
Joe Biden.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know that one. The Kool-Aid Man.
No, I was just thinking about how we have a special guest today. And if his timing is correct, he should be here right...
School's out, Teach, but the learning's just begun.
All right, kids. Come with me.
Do we have to?
Is this on the final?
Oh, thank goodness.
We start this little adventure on a ship of wood, and I can promise you this captain's up to no good. He's got a charter from the leaders of Spain to the Americas is gonna bring a lot of pain. But that doesn't look like mean old Chris. Wait, look at his name tag before you dismiss. The Bahamas with the natives is where he lands, but they don't give in to his listed demands. Although he may have never made it to the north, paved the way for Europe to travel back and forth. 1607, a group of pilgrims set off. Jamestown, Virginia is where they lay their feeding trough. Pushed away by enforced religious restrictions, they set up religious society based on their convictions, establishing rough government with the Mayflower Compact, setting the path for all government contracts. Conflict with the natives came far too often, but disease put most of them in their coffins. 13 more colonies down the road, the colonies were all about to implode. 1754, the French and Indian War starts. Did the colonists have the fighting spirit in their hearts? France and the natives versus British colonies. France would be forced to issue the apologies. With this war well under their belt, the colonists smelt that Europeans smelt. With an increased sense of American union, with the British they decided to make a reunion. Fed up with the taxation on tea and other goods, they dealt with it the only way an American should. Tea by the pound dumped into the harbor, the first sign the colonists weren't willing to barter. The British try to fight at Concord, the shot around the world is their reward. For 7 long years the war wages on. To get through this, the colonists proved their brawn. The rise of great generals was in full swing here. Generals like Washington decided to appear. Now here's a date you won't forget. July 4th, the founding fathers put down their bayonets. The Declaration of Independence was signed. Thomas Jefferson was the main mastermind. The Revolutionary War came to an end. The British controlled force they did apprehend. 1787, the Constitution was born. It's time to move on, there's no time to mourn. Unhappy with the meager powers of the people, the Bill of Rights born to make more legal. With newly born country, a leader was needed. George Washington came out on top undefeated. Industrialization began to take hold. Corporate America is what it would mold. A revolution of machines began to take place. Cheap, dirty child labor became the master race. 13 tiny colonies, more land would be annexed. Louisiana Purchase left many perplexed. Soon this led to a rush past the west. Manifest destiny is known as best. Displacing natives from their original homes. Some even sent straight to Davy Jones. On the Oregon Trail, men he set off. Most got sick and died, beware the cough. Now we come to the War of Civility. The newly born America would prove its ability. North versus South, the war fought to surrender. This isn't your tiny little fender bender. Slavery was pinned as the main cause, but taxation and laws can be named as the clause. Abe Lincoln leading the great union, but even after the war, the South got communion. An era of Reconstruction emerged, but racism itself had yet to be purged. Next up on the list is the industrial time. Machines did the work, still not much downtime, setting the stage for mass production and leading to public school instruction. War did soon follow World War I. The war with many nations was far from done. Plunged into death after a wrong turn, Archduke Ferdinand's driver would learn. The Allied powers versus the Axis, Germany about to go into anaphylaxis. First neutral to all the conflicts, America pulled out their bag of tricks. Crawling through the trenches of mud, trenches filled with blood, watch out for a flash flood. Soon the war would come to an end, but America's own people it would have to mend. A depression set on by a stock crash, a rush to get all money and cash. FDR would start his new deal, helping the lower class get a meal. Consumerism dropped to an all-time low, the mass production industry given a strong blow. Before this time period, the first plane was made. This would change warfare, give it an upgrade, setting the stage for World War II. U.S. being neutral, but Japan out of the blue. The attack at Pearl Harbor changed that. The U.S. put on their shoes and got the bat. The war would end on the beach with D-Day, the Germans being the main entree. The Vietnam proved war would still not stop, although rallies for the war were a flop. The U.S. following a policy of containment leading to the Cold War to an extent. Russia and America in a deadlock, a fight to see who would be the first to squawk. Both with possible total destruction, nuclear weapons with total deconstruction. A possible world-altering standoff if a single one happened to go off. Even fighting over who would make it to space, although Sputnik was first, America won the race. Now we lead up to where we are today, with internet and computers paving the way. Even with constant struggle in the East, this time period is pretty beast. I've got to go back to my timeline now, tell your teacher said hi and stay highbrow.
Alright, class. How was the trip?
Terrible. I almost died 3 times.
Whoa. Sorry I asked. Well, I guess we'll finish off this year with a pop final.